What's up, everyone? This is Willie Fresco. Let's take a look at a demo that was just released. I might consider this demo to be another modern-day masterpiece. This title is still under development, but this may be the final product of the game. The title of this game is no other than Stellar Blade. From as far back as I can remember, this title was unveiled to the public at 2022 PlayStation State of Play Showcase, and the game, at its very inception, was presented to us as Project Eve. As far as the plot of the story goes, space aliens take over Earth, and humanity leaves Earth, and then humanity returns to a post-apocalyptic Earth to eradicate the space aliens known as the Natiba and reclaim Earth. It's a plot that we have most definitely seen in the past, so it's not anything mind-blowing, but I'll wait till the final release to make that assessment. The main protagonist of the game is Eve, who doesn't seem to be fully human, but more of a cybernetic human. In the beginning of the demo, you see her alongside her squadron leader, Tacky, where we get a very brief tutorial on how movement and combat mechanics work. As I dove into the 1 hour long demo, I spent my time being blown away by breathtaking scenery, destructible environments, fluid and sophisticated combat, and a very soothing array of soundtracks. I did about 2 playthroughs as well as unlocking a boss challenge mode. I was actually surprised at how well this game plays. It has exceeded my expectations from the trailer that we got back in 2022, considering that it was very visually appealing. I was left wondering what the game mechanics would actually feel like. The demo has done a lot to explain what this game has to offer. Everything from basic controls, navigating the stages, and even swimming feels like you have so much more control than you would ever think. The simple fact that this is just a demo leads me to believe that the rest of this game will be just as polished as this short section is, and with a release slated for April 26th, I have some very high hopes. As with any demo, there are things that you can and cannot do. Certain areas being locked, skills not being accessible, but the things that we could get our hands on felt very robust. This game feels very familiar in the combat department, where it does borrow from a few action-adventure titles. If you are familiar with FromSoft's Sekiro, you will get very acquainted with the perfect parry mechanic as well as retribution. You will notice that there are dots under the enemy's health and shield bar. This is what's known as balance. When the enemy attacks and you execute a perfect parry, this will deplete a dot of balance from the meter. Once the meter is fully depleted, the enemy will stagger and you will be able to perform retribution, which can deal a tremendous amount of damage. If you treat this game like a traditional hack and slash, you may find things to be very difficult. Combat relies on the player recognizing enemy attacks and then using techniques like perfect parry, perfect dodge, blink, and repulse. Customization in this game feels like there will be a large variety of gear to equip your character with. There's some very nice aesthetic value to the costumes, which you unlock after the first playthrough and then enter the boss challenge mode. Other gear seems to affect different stats of your character depending on what is equipped and your playstyle. The customization system seems to be very in-depth and will allow for an even more immersive experience that will leave us with a lot to experiment with. Aside from the game's visual appeal, I must give a round of applause to the soundtrack. This is easily some of the cleanest and easy on the ear music that I've heard in a game for some time now, which funny enough works in contrast to the difficulty and frustration that you may experience along your playthrough of the game. My favorite part is when you locate a rest station there's a small turntable that will allow you to change the track that is being played at the rest station. This has always been such a massive bonus for me whenever a game offers these features. Exploration in the game was very small, but every time I went back to play, there were things that I overlooked and found something different every time, whether it be an item I didn't notice or even a new area that I didn't know I could reach because I didn't follow the yellow lines on the walls and ledges. If you have only played through the demo one time, I do encourage you return to 807 and explore a little bit more, because I do think that this game does want its players to do a thorough exploration of the stages. In closing, I really appreciate the confidence that the devs have for giving us a demo in this day and age where everything is very critical, and if a game falls short of people's expectations, it could really harm the sales of the final release of this game. Even more so, with a hefty retail value of $70, most gamers would often like to try their hands at a product before bringing it home. For me, I normally do not pre-order games, but after trying and feeling extremely delighted with the demo, I went and made my pre-order for the deluxe edition for an additional $10 that gives you even more gear on release. For most, that may be a large commitment, but if you're feeling questionable about it, there's always a demo for you to try out firsthand. I would love to know how everyone feels about the demo and the amount of excitement you have for the final release in the comments below. This is Willie Fresco, and thank you for watching.